What's up, guys? Today I want to talk about one of the best strategies, if not the best strategy, to buy property in a down market. Okay, so since we're going into a down market, since we're already in the down market, if you want to buy real estate, definitely stay tuned. What's up, guys? It's your boy Shawan Belcher. I'm a full-time real estate investor here in Greensboro, North Carolina. Own a bunch of doors, have purchased a bunch of doors, and today I wanted to go over what I believe is the best strategy from the strategies that I've executed, over the last 7 years. I honestly believe that this is like my go-to. This is how I'm buying. This is my strategy to go from 60 doors to 100 doors. This is my strategy of how I'm going to get equity and cash flow in a time where there's a bunch of uncertainty. Okay, but first I want to go over, how are we buying, period? Because some of you guys might not even understand how real estate investors are buying and how we, come up with offers and all that good stuff. And of course, if you want to know more about how we use real estate investing to make money, definitely go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and like the video, because that's all we talk about here is business, finance, and how to make as much money as you want during the 30-day period of time using real estate investing. So the first way we can actually buy property and make money is, we can just buy property with our cash. Like, of course, everybody's like, hey, it's a downturn. I want to have as much money as I can. So when everything is low, I can use this cash that I've saved up, right? And I can use this cash to buy my property, okay? I think that's a good scenario. That's a good way to look at it. But one thing about, economics is that one of the assumptions of economics is that cash is limited, okay? Cash is limited. Okay, and so when I hear people saying, hey, I'm hoarding up all of this cash so I can buy when the time is right. See, I got this seller. I was just talking, a lead came in last week. This girl, pretty much, she's been flipping since COVID. And she's done, this is her 4th house, okay? And she's always used her own cash to buy the property, to renovate the property, and then to resell it, okay? But now, since the market has turned, the house took longer to finish. It took more money to finish, and then also it's been sitting on the MLS and it's and hasn't sold. Okay, now she's pregnant. She's pregnant right now, so she doesn't really have time to do any extra legwork. And so her only option is just to keep her cash in the property because she doesn't have a full-time job, so she can't qualify for a traditional loan. Even if she were to rent it for the amount of money that she put into the house, she wouldn't be able to get all of her money out because terms have changed for banks. And, so at the end of the day, she's kind of just out $120,000 right now. Like it's in this house. Like she hasn't lost that money, but it's in the house, And so not saying that she doesn't have money, but still, she just got $120,000 of her own money in this house when something might come up, that's more important that she might need to use that money. Now, that's the downfall to cash. That cash is great because we don't have a payment. Cash is good. There's nothing wrong with cash. I'm just saying, like in a down market, when we don't really know how far it's gonna go down, do we really want to be taking all of our cash out of our account and putting ourselves and our portfolios or our family at risk because we use our cash? So the next thing we could do, of course, we can wholesale. And honestly, this is definitely a great strategy. Like wholesaling right now, in a down market, perfect. Okay, wholesaling is the way to get paid to buy a property and not have any responsibility afterwards. Okay, essentially what you're going to do is you're going to find a seller who has a property, okay, and for whatever reason they're willing to agree to a price or some terms that's favorable in an investor's favor. Okay, so that means that there's a potential for equity and cash flow. And because it's a good deal, if you wanted to wholesale it, and get paid, to buy that house. You can just simply assign the contract or double close. You can sell it to someone else before you ever buy it, and boom, you take a fee from it. Okay. Now that is definitely a great strategy. Now it's easy as far as explaining it to you, but actually doing a deal like this is a little harder. There's a lot of things that can come up. Now, in a down market, the problem with wholesaling, not saying that it can't be done, because I just did one. I just made 10,000 bucks from it, so I'm cool with it. But the problem with wholesaling is you don't have any control over the seller, over the buyer, and anyone inside of the transaction. You're kind of just there doing as much as you can do, which is really not doing anything. A hamster on the treadmill, right? And so in a down market, when buyers, are realizing that their money is more expensive because banks are charging more in interest rates, and when, demand is going down, their properties are sitting on the MLS longer, sometimes that can set confusion in buyers' mindsets about where they need to be price-wise. And so they might lock up a deal with you. This just happened to me last week, so I'm speaking from experience. So they might lock up a deal with you, be willing to put down the $2,000 non-refundable earnest, but then a day before closing, hit you with a reduction. Threaten to say, hey, that they're gonna back out if you don't do the reduction. But in the previous market that we're in, in the last year or 2 years, if a buyer ever backed out, you could find another buyer within minutes, who would pay more than that last guy and close faster than that last guy, and put a higher down, and put a higher deposit. In this market, it's not as easy. Now, if I had to give you a clue about this upcoming year, is that building relationships with buyers and private money investors is going to be one of the single most important things that you can do. Because it'll give you more control in your business, but wholesaling is just getting a little difficult because of that. But it's definitely the second best. I would say it's the second best. It's way better than buying cash. A lot of people will typically buy houses by planning to BRRRR the property. So, which is buying the property at a discount, renovating the property so it can be nice and fixed up, and you can, make that property worth more now because you fixed it up now to the new standards that we're going through. And then you can rent it out at the highest amount of rent possible because it's now a pretty house. And then before, we could refinance, we could use a bank and refinance because now we have a tenant that's paying $1,400 a month, which should cover the mortgage and leave a gap of money for me, okay? And also, because I did that refinance, I'll be able to pay back my lender, I'll be able to pay him back some interest, and I'll be able to cash out. That was what we were doing before, and at that point, we were doing it before, not necessarily now as much, because we could get 75% or 80% loan to value. Okay, that's key. The loan to value that a bank is willing to give you when you're doing a refinance is key, because if your property doesn't appraise and you get a lower loan to value than you're looking for, you're gonna have to bring money to the table on every refinance. Not good, it's not, because now we're having to take money out of our pocket versus using no money like we want to do, right? So that strategy is tougher too. Not saying that you can't do it, but if you do a BRRRR, you're gonna have to get deals. Low at the end of the day. You're gonna have to get deals low. And so in a down market where sellers, especially in the beginning of this market change, where sellers haven't caught up to the expectation that the market is now taking a turn, sellers still want more than buyers actually want to pay, than investors actually want to pay. So the BRRRR strategy might be hard for you. Because of the whole BRRRR process and having a higher interest rate and a lower loan to value, that might be hard. So my go-to out of all of the strategies that I've done, through my short investing career, out of all the strategies that I've done, I honestly believe that buying property subject to the existing mortgages is our best acquisition strategy at this particular time. Okay, now. hey, if you want to invest with cash, I get it. Do your thing. If you want to, run it up in wholesale, I'm definitely going to be wholesaling some deals too. Okay. If you want to do some burr, I'm going to do burr on the best ones I have, on the biggest and the best deals, yeah, for sure. I'm definitely going to do a couple burrs. But at the end of the day, every single day, I'm sending out subject to offers, buying properties subject to the existing loan, meaning that I'm going to take over the seller's payment, and I'm making that particular offer because of all of the reasons why the first 4 ways are bad. Okay, so cash wise, you're limited because you need cash. But with a subject to deal, the loan is already there. The bank already agreed to 30-year finance. Okay, the money's already there. Wholesaling is great, but if I can get paid the same fee to buy a property from one LLC to the next, where my partner is gonna buy a piece of equity in that property to do this deal with me, so I can get paid a fee up front and still own it, for sure. I'm definitely gonna do that. And as far as the refinances with the high interest rate, once again, subject to the bank already agreed to 30-year fixed at whatever the current borrower's interest rate is, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, and because of when I look down my balance sheet right now, it's the end of the year, and every year I do like a physical inspection of our rental properties. I make up this spreadsheet for our investors, and I send them this big spreadsheet with all the pictures, and I say, hey, this is what our portfolio looks like. This is here's how much the property that we did together, how much we owe on it, or how much we spent on it. Here's how much we collected. Here's what it's worth. Okay. Now, when I look at all of those properties, when I look at all of our doors, every single LLC, every single entity that we have a subject to is the highest performing deal. They're typically nicer. You get way better terms because you're not getting an investor loan. You got a homeowner's loan because that's what the borrower qualified for at the time when they purchased it. You're picking it up in the middle of an amortized schedule because, an amortization schedule on a loan, the most amount of interest is paid in the beginning of the loan. The least amount is at the end. So anywhere in between, it's lesser. Great. You're picking it up in the middle. And then, of course, it's like the fastest transaction that you don't need any money for. So that's my go-to strategy. I honestly want to encourage you guys to learn as much as you can about subject to. I want you guys to start making offers, on properties by taking over payments. Be open to feeling dumb about it when sellers ask you questions. But what matters is that you guys actually put the offers out there. And I promise when you do make the offers, people will say yes when you expect them not to accept it. You will start to collect rents that you are not even you're like, wow, how did that even happen? Right? You'll start to just get cash flow and not feel the pressure of having to get your next deal or else. And I promise this is by far the best strategy. I'm telling you, every day I'm making subject to offers. Like I said, don't get me wrong. I'm still doing wholesale deals. I'm pretty sure I'm still going to be doing some burrs. But 80% of the deals, mark my words, are going to be subject to in 2023 for your boy here. So if you guys want to follow my journey and I show you how I'm picking up deals, how I have short-term rentals, how I have group homes, how I have a rental portfolio. Well, technically, if I didn't want to grow anymore, I could be good. I can go home and chill with my family. If you guys are interested in that, definitely subscribe. Definitely like. I would love to show you guys how you can use real estate investing and become the person that you've always wanted to be as well. Look, peace, y'all. See you on the next one.